This meeting to order and recognize that tonight's meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw people. Any transfer of items to the open meeting agenda? Seeing none. Any additions?
Would it be possible to just ask a question just regarding the survey about student ministry? I just have a couple kind of requests that I'd like to bring forward.
Sure, I guess so. Or is there any other place in the agenda to speak
yeah,
of
it
it?
doesn't matter where.
How about the education committee?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care where, I just would like to bring something up.
I'm just trying to see if there's something on here.
I can do it on my zone for if you want.
Okay. So much for my record.
Then I won't worry about it, I'll just put it on the zone.
Okay, sounds good. Any deletions? Seeing none? Any change in the order? Seeing none? Picking up steam here. Any objection to the
table?
Any objection to the approval of the agenda? Seeing none. The minutes, 7.1. The Board of Education of School District 68 adopt the minutes from the regular board meeting held December 20th, 2017. Any objection? Seeing none. Annual General Meeting minutes. The Board of Education of School District 68 adopt the minutes from the Annual General Meeting held December 6, 2017. Any objection to receiving those? Seeing none. Section 72 report, 8.1. The Section 72 report from the closed meeting held December 20th, 2017. Any objection to receiving those? Seeing none. 8.2, Section 72 report from the special closed meeting held January 17th, 2018. Any objection receiving those? Announcements and reminders. Education meeting at the DAC boardroom February 7th at 6 p.m. Statutory holiday, Family Day. Everybody get out and spend time with their families. February 12th. Business committee meeting at the DAC boardroom February 14th at 6 p.m. and the regular board meeting at the DAC boardroom on February 28th, 6 p.m. Presentations, seeing none. Correspondence, 11.1. That the Board of Education of School District 68 receive and file the correspondence re City of Nanaimo information update. Does anybody have any objection to that? Seeing none. 11.2, Leonard Krog, that the Board of Education of School District 68 receive and file a correspondence re Community Conversations School District's regulation of legalized cannabis. Does anybody have an objection to that? Seeing none. Keith Godin, the Board of Education of School District 68 receive and file the correspondence re Foundation Skills Assessment results. Anybody have any objection to that? Ken Oakes, the Board of Education of School District 68 direct Board Chair Ray to provide a response to Mr. Oakes. Does anybody have an objection to that?
Oh, sorry. I'll wait till we're done.
Thank you. Seeing none.
Can I just, sorry, I have no objection to that, but I just want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's really important because there's a lot of like factually incorrect information in this letter that, and I think that's what the whole point of having you respond is, and that perhaps it's I'm not entirely sure. I feel uncomfortable even having this on our agenda because there's so much incorrect information in it about the best way to have the correct information. And I know we provide the responses on the website to people, so I guess I'll just encourage the public if they're watching that, if they read that letter, to read it in conjunction with what will be the correct information when the chair responds. Thank you.
Anybody else have any discussion?
Oh, trustee, sorry, Superintendent Messlinger has.
Through the chair, I have made contact with Mr. Oakes.
Okay.
And so we're in conversation.
Thank you.
And I would just say that I'm hoping for a good SOGI update soon with regard to what the plan of action is from the social justice advocates, and some of these things will probably be addressed there.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? 11.5, that the Board of Education of School District 68 refer the correspondence re Victoria Schools get more drinking fountains from June Ross to staff for a response. Does anybody have an objection to that?
Non-objection, but a question?
Let's just do this
Okay.
first and then we can go to your question, okay?
Just turn your face up.
Seeing none, trustee Brozovic.
I'd like to see it also, I'd like to go to staff for response, but also be sent to us to discuss the issue in the budget process. Some things came up for me in this, when I read the letter and the article that made me think I'd like to talk more about the broad issue. And I would like that, just didn't want that to get lost.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent Blaine?
Just want to refresh the board's memory that in the amended budget that we moved forward phase 3 to be completed within the next 6 months, which is another $100,000. So the water fountain and lead in the water piece should be completed by this district by the beginning of September.
Okay, so I could probably ask that question when we do the amended budget.
Okay.
Fair enough, thank
Fair
you.
enough.
Trustee zone reports, trustee Brozovic.
Thank you. I haven't had a great deal of contact with I've been in contact with my schools, but I haven't really been able to physically get there a lot this January, just for a bunch of reasons. Was really impressed with something they did at Dover, a mind mapping exercise with grade 8s, which I really enjoyed. Kids are at Dover getting ready for exams and semester change, and so it's a busy time in the high schools. Like I say, haven't really made it to my elementaries this time. I have heard from parents about the survey for the superintendent search. The survey that we put on our website, asking for input from people on what they value in a superintendent. And a few people have only just heard about it, and would basically are asking, could we leave that open for a few more days just to get a few more responses? And I'm just wondering if that's practical to leave it up to, say, Sunday night, just to give one more blitz so we can get a lot of responses.
Dale?
Yeah.
Through the chair, I'll take the direction from the board. If you'd like to keep it open for a few more days, I can do that. It's set to close tonight at midnight. However, I can easily change that.
Does somebody want to make a motion to leave it till Sunday? Want to make a motion to that?
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll move that we leave it open until Sunday to give us a better chance to. And I'm encouraging everybody, if you've got a way to
It's
promote it.
got to be seconded.
Pardon?
It's got to be seconded before
Oh,
you
yeah.
just need to.
Seconded?
Thank you. Yeah,
Trustee
I
Jensen?
think that it's a really important thing, that we get as much input as we can. So if anybody who has any way of getting the link out to people, whether it be a Facebook account, a Twitter account, that we do that. I'm going to email a whole bunch of my friends who have had trouble finding the link. Sometimes people get lost on our website or don't know what they're doing. So I'm going to just directly send a bunch of people the link who've asked for it. So I just think that the more numbers we can get responding to that, the better.
Any other discussion? Dale, do you have any idea of how many people have responded to the survey so far?
As of this afternoon, there was 270, I believe, respondents.
Great, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you.
Yeah, that's me, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have much tonight.
Trustee, where did trustee Rutledge go?
I think I just heard him in the bathroom. Maybe we
Oh,
can circle
is he
back
still
around to
here?
him. I think so.
Okay,
Unless-
we can go back to it, I guess. Trustee Bob?
Thank you. So I will be going out to Gabriola on Friday to participate in a Yes to No event for the students, and all of the students will be rotating to different groups, and the focus of this activity is learning in the brain and learning about cyber safety and overcoming challenges. And I'm going to have the opportunity to just answer questions to students, and I'm quite looking forward to that. Forest Park just had a huge Jump Rope for Heart success. They've had 20 years of successful Jump Rope for Hearts, and they have raised over $50,000 over the past few years. So I just really wanted to share that, because it's like a lot of energy and time goes into that, and 20 years is quite amazing and impressive. So they're really proud of that. Forest Park also just had a Family Literacy Day where all of the school participated in a read-in, and each of the students, all at the same time, read a book for 15 minutes. And the principal was very happy with that, and all of the feedback was really good. And they also just received a grant to start working on an Indigenous garden, which is very exciting. I've seen a couple of other schools who have had much success with that, so it'll be nice to see. I went to Brechin recently too, and they also have a garden that is really successful right now, and they have been able to secure partnerships within the community, and things are going really well. They also recently had a dentist come in and give toothbrushes to their students, so that was great. They also had the local FYI doctors, which are optometrists, come in, and they did vision screening for some of their students. That was great. What else? I also went up to Hammond Bay and had a really nice tour of the school and got to see the new boiler room. It's beautiful. It's like one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a long time. It's actually, you need to get out of that.
You don't know art, but you know a boiler room when you see
But
it.
you see how much work had gone into it and how beautiful it is. It's really impressive. But they're also starting Halkminam classes at their school, which they're very excited about, and they're realizing how difficult it is to find Indigenous resources in French.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? So if anybody has the opportunity to advocate for that, please do so. They are also focusing on literacy, and they're having a read aloud day, or actually they just had it. They're hosting an event called Festival du Sucre, which I'm not really sure.
Sugar.
Yeah, I guess it is sugar, but I'm not really sure all of the activities that are a part of it, but I'm going to have an opportunity to be a part of that. Yeah, and another big thing they're really excited about is having a science fair, and it's all really being planned with the teachers and parents, and I was surprised that NS3 wasn't involved with that. But it's just really, every school is so unique in their own little way, and it's neat to see how they're just building on what resources they have and the relationships they have with their little community. So that's my little report.
Thank you. Trustee Solomon?
Just a couple of things. This Ready, Set, Learn program, I don't know if everyone is aware of it, but these are the preschoolers, and they're going to pool their resources this year and have basically a big session at Cinnabar this year. I don't have the date. I think it's in March. Cedar Elementary, it's the addition or the renovation is coming along, and it's really they're so looking forward to this deal at the school. It's going to provide a kitchen, which they haven't had for quite a long time. They keep getting asked about when can we have a pancake breakfast or whatever. Well, when you have a fridge and you have a stove, it actually makes it a lot easier. So this is going to be a huge thing for the school, and they're really looking forward to it. And again, I really think that's a remarkable kind of deal, because it was you had to improvise to make this happen in terms of getting the extra classroom and getting a new kitchen. Instead of just getting a portable. So I think it really is a really good thing for the school. There's one of the things I can say about what's happened out in Cedar, and I actually do think it's remarkable. I mean, this is a couple of years now that there was a lot of upheaval in the community, and I think the elementary school and the high school are starting to gain ground, and it's not an easy thing to merge two schools, even though they're so close to each other. There's a lot that goes into that, and Cedar Elementary is a very vibrant, active, wonderful school with tremendous leadership, and the high school is gaining traction and gaining ground too. So I can't really say enough about the leadership in the community at the two schools, with Ms. Sneddon, with Mr. Hoff, and I mentioned the vice principal having Carrie Steele go back and forth. I did mention that she's a lot nicer than her husband, but I mean, you know, it's really it's really come a long way, and I think that's tremendous. The only other thing I'll mention is they're doing Indigenous studies is a huge deal at the elementary school, and they're going to be working on a totem pole from each class. So I'm not sure how that, you know, what they mean by that or what they're going to do, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Thank you. Trustee Robinson, you have 14 seconds.
I have, let's see, there's 14 pages here, I hope. I've had lunch with teachers at all my elementary schools. Nobody yelled at me, so I think that's all good. People seemed happy, and everyone ate well. So that's my report there. I mentioned to the board a month or so ago about my waking up one morning with the line, "The best me I can be." With support from the communications department, we now have a really beautiful certificate. It'll be signed by the superintendent, myself, and the teacher of each class. Room for the teacher to write positive things, examples of the student being the best they can be, not necessarily the best math student in the world, but someone who is doing the best they can at math. And the first two teachers have done the write-up, and the certificate will be signed in the next few days by the superintendent and myself. They'll be presented in frames, a $2 investment that's worth $1,000, I think. The kids will have these certificates to take home, hang in their room, hang up in the living room, show to grandparents, uncles, aunts, neighbors. We're piloting in 7 classes, and I'm hoping that this will spread much further. It's inexpensive, and I believe we'll do an assessment on it, but I think it will prove well worth the small investment we're making. I met with the superintendent a week or so ago, and something I've been trying to put together is the pack from Georgia to get together with the pack from McGirr. McGirr, as we all know, now have something like $400,000 accessible playground, with more than half of that provided by Canadian Tire. So the McGirr pack has great contacts, exceptional contacts with Canadian Tire, who have set aside $50 million for accessible playgrounds. So I believe that we'll be able to get a couple $100,000, I'm hoping, or maybe more, from corporate funders, which will help us with a little from the district to get a badly needed accessible playground in the South End. There are 3 kids in wheelchairs in Georgia that cannot get into the playgrounds to use it, and the equipment isn't accessible to them if they did get in. So I meet with the 2 presidents Friday, and I'm very excited to get that going. I've been at a couple of meetings of something that used to be called SPUPTITL, which means competition, in Hulkaminum. I have now been attending the Tukasthompsh meetings, Tukasthompsh, which means sharing. So sharing the language, sharing the culture, and we'll have much more storytelling. I think we'll all remember when the storytelling team from LSS came in, and there were a few puddles of tears around on this desk. Very emotional, very powerful sharing of language and culture. And hopefully we will have a lot more, and many from elementary school as well. And under the leadership of Ann Tenning, who was looking for things to do, At one of our Took-a-Stomps meetings, somebody came up with the idea that maybe we should have a one-day session for all Aboriginal educators on the island. And it's happening under Anne's leadership. And I can't remember exactly when. It's set for the day after Took-a-Stomps anyway. So some really exciting things going on with Hulkaminam language and culture. And that's my report.
Nice. So when is the date of that?
Yeah, you would ask, wouldn't you?
Sorry. It's a great event.
April sometime.
Okay, you'll let us know?
Aye, for sure.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Brennan?
Thank you, Chair. A week ago, last Monday, I attended a meeting of the Poverty Reduction Task Force provincial group that's trying to develop a framework for going forward in a poverty reduction program for British Columbia. We're, I think, the only province now that doesn't have a poverty reduction program. And Minister of State Elmore was there, and it was a pretty good crowd at Bevan Park. And the table I sat at had 3 students from EIU, a 4th year nursing, sociology, and a social work student who had great things to contribute. The major issue that was identified as a problem in this community was that of housing, suitable, affordable housing. So it'll be interesting to see how that task force and how that program evolves. I've been attending the Quarterway Strong Start program regularly. I don't fit the age group, but,
Did they ask for ID?
but I have one that does. And I have to say that it's a terrific program. Our granddaughter really enjoys going. She jumps up and down puddles when she's told she's going. And while I was there yesterday, I was in the kitchen watching the cookies bake, and the door to the other classroom opened, and all these munchkins came in with sleeping mats, dumping them down. And I said, "Oh, did you guys all have a nap?" And the teacher said, "Oh no, we're doing mindfulness." And the kids lay down and they sort of pull themselves together, almost like a centering exercise. And I've been to a lot of workshops on mindfulness, and it was really pleasing for me to see it actually in place in a classroom, being delivered by a teacher, because it does a great deal to bring peace and tranquility to children during the day when they're at ends, right? Mm-hmm. So that was really useful. So, okay.
Great, thank you very much. Trustee Rutley?
Oh, no, I'm not raising my hand.
No, it was
No,
on
no,
board.
it's your trustee's on report.
No, I'm into the report.
Oh, okay, thank you. Committee reports from the Business Committee, nothing. From the Education Committee, nothing. So Superintendent Blaine?
It's the Business Committee report.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes, you're right. I'll read it since Scott's not here. That the Board of Education of School District 68 approved the draft 2020 Vision for Learning Progression Calendar. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Trustee Brennan, second by Trustee Bob. Any discussion? Trustee Blaine?
So I just wanted to point out there are 2 or 3 minor edits in this as to the direction from the board from the last meeting, just so you make sure that you're motioning an amended calendar. I can point them out if you wish.
Sure, that'd be great.
So if you refer to the calendar on page 28, we moved any business pieces out of February the 7th, the Education Committee, and to allow for other items to go there. The Education Committee on March the 7th, we moved all the other presentations out of there, except for Learning Services, to reflect also the Education and Learning Services piece. And I believe we also shifted 1 meeting in April to allow for, I believe, the AGM, or et cetera. So we're hoping that all the dates are in line now.
Any discussion?
Just thank you.
Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. 13.2.2, that the Board of Education of School District 68 appoint KPMG as the auditors for School District 68 for a term of 3 years with an option of 2 one-year renewals. The first audit year will be fiscal year ending June 30th, 2018. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by trustee Higginson, second by trustee Robinson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 68 receive as information the 2017-18 annual transportation route review as recommended by staff. I guess there's two. Is that two-part or is?
Yeah, there's two separate
Two
motions.
separate motions.
Yeah, okay. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved by trustee Brennan, second by trustee Higginson. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. That the Board of Education of School District 68 rescind motion S14-02/19-02, that the Board of Education of School District 68, utilizing existing transportation routes, provide school bus transportation services for stops at Davis Road Elementary, Ladysmith Primary, and Ladysmith Intermediate to North Oyster Elementary for students currently enrolled in French immersion at Davis Road Elementary. This service will be offered on a transition basis until June 2021, with the parents receiving annual reminders that the service will be discontinued after that date. Courtesy riders will be permitted if space permits, with first priority given to siblings of French immersion students. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by trustee Higginson, second by trustee Solomon. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. 13.2.4, that the Board of Education of School District 68 directs staff, in consultation with CUPE, to investigate the viability of building learning studios using NLPS staff, as well as looking into the possibility of utilizing CTC students to help build them as part of a broader hands-on educational experience, and report back to the board with a recommendation. I have a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Brennan, second by trustee Bob. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Senior staff reports. Seeing none. Unfinished business.
Holy cow, this is a record.
Seeing none, new business, we're getting close to a record here. Seeing none, no.
No.
I just need to caucus for a minute.
You know, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, I think I busted my chops.
We have a method going there.
I think this is right.
The clock is ticking.
Amended budget. Yeah, isn't there an amended budget that we're supposed to do?
No, that was just
You're good? We're still on track. Any objection to receiving the information 17.1 and 17.2? Seeing none, any questions? Seeing none, any objection to an adjournment? Seeing none, thank you, everybody.